Okay, guys, this is the first of a series of videos on Module 19.4, which is the trigonometric identity. Again, what we're going over here is really nothing new. It's basically some of the things that build on what we've done up to this point in terms of trig functions. So we're going to start, as always, with definition. So the definition of a trigonometric identity is an equation, and keep in mind this is an equation that is true for all values of theta except when it's undefined. As we know, there are functions of trig functions that are actually have values of theta that's undefined. For example, tangents are undefined at negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. Secant, cosecant, cotangent all have vertical asymptotes, which means the domain is now from negative infinity to positive infinity for those particular functions. So in order for a trig identity to be true, it doesn't have to be true for all values of theta. It just has to fit into the domain of the functions that you're speaking of, okay? Anytime you're doing proof or identity, in order for identity to be proven, you must show that it's true for all values of theta. Now, that does not mean you're going to substitute all values of theta into the equation to figure out if it's true or not. Now, you could verify it temporarily by doing substitution of specific values, but in order to prove the identity, again, there's a difference between verification and proof. Verification just means I know it's true. I'm just verifying what my actual conclusion was based on the proof, okay? But to make sure it's proven, you have to show that it is true for all values of theta. So to verify, you can substitute in specific values, but to prove, you can't do that. Because in order to show that it's proven, you have to show it's true for all values of theta. That means you have to sit there and substitute in all theta that is within the domain of the function you're speaking of. And as we know, that's going to take a really long time, which is something that we don't want to do. Okay, now moving on. Again, these are some reviews. So we do know the reciprocal identities for this. Some of you guys are sitting here going, what do you mean? Well, cosine, okay, if we're talking about cosine is equal to, if we're talking about reciprocal, we're talking about a fraction. So 1 over what? Well, the reciprocal function of cosine theta is secant theta. Let me find my theta. Okay. So that's the reciprocal identity, which by extension should also mean just this. I can change this to secant theta. Oh, sorry guys, lost it for a minute. Which should equal to 1 over cosine theta. Because again, the relationship between the two functions is that they are reciprocals of each other. Okay, let me address this. Now, so for sine theta, well, what is the reciprocal of sine theta? Well, it's cosecant theta. So that means sine theta can be rewritten as 1 over cosecant theta. Which means by association, again, address this, you know I have to, cosecant theta then can be written as 1 over, you guessed it, sine theta, okay? Moving on to tangent theta. Well, what is the reciprocal of tangent theta? We should all know, you guys should be answering me right now, it's 1 over cotangent theta. Okay, which means by that idea, I can go ahead and rewrite cotangent theta as 1 over tangent theta. Okay, so again, these are some reviews of things that we already talked about. Hopefully you guys still remember it. And again, if I need to, let me know, and I'll try to post the completed notes online for you guys. But honestly, I think if you watch the video, this should give you enough time to fill everything out. Okay, let's talk about ratio identity. So what does that mean? That means tangent theta can be rewritten as a ratio of something. And what can tangent theta be rewritten as, people? You guys should be answering on this. It should be written as sine theta over cosine theta, which we've seen that in the unit circle. So by that idea, since cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent, that means the ratio that's associated with cotangent would have been cosine theta over sine theta. Again, you need to know these basic ratio identity and reciprocal identities by heart because we're going to be using that later in terms of doing proofs. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video right here. Go ahead and fill all those out and then make sure you watch the second video or the video follow that to move on to the beginning of the Pythagorean identity.